Hey everybody, it's Doom from DungeonSwag, Dungeons and Doom Biscuits YouTube channel, and we're going to paint number 4 of 6 for the June DungeonSwag loot crate, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that was 5. I'll roll it again since that was unfair. 2, so we're going to do 1, 2, so we're going to do the Bear Viking Barbarian guy. This dude's pretty sick, I'm not going to lie. He's got some awesome textures. He's a little muscular. He's got some skin hanging out. He's not fully clothed like the regular fellas. He is a little more primal. His beard is sick. But I will tell you right off the bat, I'm going to have to do some... I'm going to have to get his face a little whiter, because that skin will not pop with how dark that is. So let's get the white. And let's lighten him up a little bit. This is a makeup brush from the dollar store. We're just going to lighten up his top parts a little bit. Get in here behind his shield a little bit. I think I'm going to do a little more nice color with this dude than I usually do. I usually do like a grim darker kind of stuff on all my guys, but I'm just going to lighten him up a little bit, get back in there so we can see a little of that shield detail. Get behind that leg a little bit. Alright, yeah, we want that face to be light enough that the flesh tones actually show. Alright, clean that brush out real quick, rinse it out. You gotta really clean out those makeup brushes because they get gross, man. Well, they're made for makeup, not for acrylic paint. Alright, so I think I'm gonna do a little different than usual. I think I'm gonna start with all his flesh tone because he has so much. Oh, I don't have any tape out. Y'all didn't make sure I prepped. Whoever's in charge of production here. Oh, that's me. Loser. So I noticed like a lot of these YouTube crafters and painters have these like super nice areas, and I was talking about this with Asco. My crafting area is not fancy. I'm sorry, I am not. This is not my job. This is something I do for fun. I just don't have the ability to have that kind of crafting area. So if you're wondering about all the stains and cuts and glue, well, that's because I'm actually down here working. It's better to go a little thin with your speed paints and to spread them out a little bit than just to have too much and have to clean a bunch off. Because it will pull up in the deeper areas, yes, but you don't want like this ridiculous thick dark brown hole looking like the Spartans, because then it's just going to look goofy. Like, I don't know if you saw 300, which by the way is a sick movie. And if you watch 300 and don't want to play D&D or go join the Spartans afterwards, then you're not trying. But anyways, like I said, if you go too thick with the speed paint, I got it all over the cloak, with this flesh colored speed paint, it makes the grooves so dark that you can't really come back from it and make it look nice again without a lot of work. So if you want to paint minis quickly in about 30 to 40 minutes or maybe an hour like I do, then take the time to ensure you don't use too much flesh tone speed paint. Now in these areas underneath here, like in the back and stuff, where you're just throwing down paint and hoping it sticks, you can go a little thicker, like under this arm right here, and on his side. You can go a little thicker because that's got a lot of gray tone in there. And it's not going to be like prevalent. It's not going to, like on the front on his chest, you can see all his muscle definition real good. But on the back here in the corner, you can't really see in there well. So if you go a little extra on that, it's not going to kill anything. Alright, so let's get his hands. Man, I'm making a big mess this time. Alright. Looks like we have a good start here. These regiment brushes, this one has been dropped and thrown, so I'm using it until it dies someday, which it eventually will. But these regiment brushes, they have a bigger tip than, like, say for example, like that is a regiment brush. This is a starter brush. Those are both Army Painter brushes. And then like this is like a size 1 brush, which is like a pretty small tip. That's not one. I thought I grabbed a fractional brush. Alright, so this is a fractional brush. It's a oh, my tip's messed up. I gotta clean it. But that's a fractional brush. It's a smaller brush. And then the fractional brushes, I have several more that even go smaller than that. And these are just the minutest tips ever. And these fractional brushes, especially if you're buying like Zems or something, can cost a little more. So I don't use them all the time. I use them sparingly. Oh, look, I missed a spot on his flesh there. But I use them sparingly, and I try to take really good care of them because I can't afford to always be buying those really tiny brushes. And when you store them, generally they have a plastic protective sleeve here. And if you don't have like this big Army Painter, like the monster brush, even has this, like your good brushes usually come with that. If you don't, oh, shizen. If you don't have that, hold on, let me show you. You can get these coffee stirrer sticks. They're like little straws. Or a regular straw, even if your brush is fat enough. And you can just put that on there and snip it off somewhere, and you can use that to protect your brushes from getting dusty if you leave them out and stuff. But yeah, protect your brushes. There's no point in spending a bunch of money on renewing your brushes all the time. You can make a brush last forever. I have brushes that are 15 years old that are still good. So I mean, now on all these barbarian Viking type dudes, I've been using this camo green for the fabric on them, for like the cloth. So we're going to use the same on this guy. I think this brush is due for a good cleaning too. I'll tell you something about these DungeonSwag minis. The first resins we went through were not great, but this resin that we use now is amazing. These miniatures are super durable and can take a beating and can be dropped. The original resins we were using, and mind you, the resin choices have changed over the years and time, but the first resins we were using and we didn't know what we were doing, if you drop this mini from like waist height onto my garage floor, it would just completely shatter. Like the arm would break off, the sword would be missing and flown across the land. And as time's gone on, we've obviously found better ways and better materials, and it's been phenomenal. But we started out, and the first minis were like, oh, we're going to be sending out a lot of replacements. Fortunately, we the technology's getting better. We've gotten better printers, we've gotten better resin, but all right, so we're going to let that green dry, and we're going to start working on his cloak. I've been doing all these cloaks on these guys based in this dark stone. We're using like 90% army painter stuff here, guys, because it's just what I have and I like it a lot. When I buy paint again, usually I used to try new brands and to try to find what I like. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to keep buying this army painter stuff because I really, really like it. I thought, like, when I had the Games Workshop stuff and the Vallejo, or Vallejo, or however you say it, stuff in the past, I thought I had found, like, what I needed and what I wanted. But this Army Painter stuff is more for me, like, for the way I like it to be consistency-wise. I don't have to thin it as much. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, like, if I was going to do, like, a big area and I didn't want to do dry brushing, I wanted to just keep using lighter, like, watered-down lighter tones to bring out a color. But generally for like this 1 hour paint job stuff, you can't really get into that or we will be here forever. So using like some blending and dry brushing speeds up the process and put something on your table that you can look at and say, oh, it looks decent. Looks all right. Really don't know how I'm going to do this bear hood or whatever to make it look good. I've never done anything like that. So we'll be figuring that out together for sure. I don't like to shamelessly plug anything except for my own products, but my oldest son and I have been playing this like Star Wars phone game. I can't remember what it's called, and it's like new, but you're like, there's a Jedi that's like a robot, and so instead of like using the Force to pull you, he shoots out a rope and stuff. I don't know, it's pretty fun. Not a sponsor, obviously. It's a fun game. I don't like to get into playing phone games and stuff because really, like, if I'm going to sit down a game, I want to sit down and play a well-developed game that has a story or some kind of goal. If I'm going to play a game, I want to play something that has some substance, but phone games tend to be more like time stealers. And when you're trying to do stuff in your life that's creative and constructive, you don't want to be flinging butt juice all over your time with phone games. Alright, I think we got a good coat on that bear portion. We're going to have to come back where I was sloppy on his beard. We're going to have to come back and hit that with some white. So we're going to get a small brush for that. We're going to be real careful with that. And we don't want to do it too thick. It's got to be a very thin coat. But we don't want to water this down because we don't want to have to come back and do a second coat to lighten this up. So we're going to do one coat. We're just on the beard where we got tan. Okay. And we're going to also, in any spots where we had to paint that, where it's going to ruin the way the beard looks, we're going to lighten those spots up too, okay? So we fixed the beard, got it white again. And the color I'm going to use on that, well, we're going to come back because that's going to have to dry for sure now. So on his sleeves here, he has some, there's some like chain armor. We're going to hit that, and we're going to start doing some of this metal. This guy has less metal than some of the other models. I'm using, because I want this guy to be a little brighter, we're using this plate metal instead of the gun metal. Pretty late at night. I don't know what time it is. Let me look. It's like, it's 12:30. It's really not that late. I felt like it was like the middle of the night. I'm not a night owl anymore, so I get tired really early. I've been ready for bed for hours. And then his shoulder or elbow guard here is probably going to be silver too, huh? When I'm doing that really small stuff, like trying to catch that edge and stuff, one of the things that really helps me is remembering that it's more like, oh no, I got silver on his arm. It's more like tracing or drawing with a pen than it is painting. Take your time, just like if you were coloring in the lines or tracing over something you'd already written. Just take your time. Take a breath and draw. Don't where did I do that at? Oh, right there. We're going to have to come back right there and fix that where I got that silver, and that's okay. Making mistakes happens. It doesn't add that much time if we handle it appropriately and early on. The longer you wait to fix some of that stuff, oh, I forgot his sword. The longer you wait to pick some of this stuff, the harder it might be. The more steps that it might take to repair it, depending on what you've done. Alright, so we have his knee pads to do yet. He only has a knee pad on that one leg. That worked out. So we need to do something with his pants back here. Oh, Chris. I am so careless. Alright, we're going to come back and touch that up now. Got a little silver there. Alright, I'm worried that's going to stick out on the miniature really bad when we come back with the green. So let me try to spread that around a little bit and make that look a little more natural. There we go. I think that'll help. Alright, for his pants, I used a really dark brown on the last guy, so I'm going to use a medium brown on this guy's pants, and then I'm going to do his boots in a darker brown. I also need to quickly, I realized I need that flesh tone again. There was a little piece of leg sticking out right there. Just a little bit of flesh on the top of his knee there, right above his pants. And we need to come back here where I messed up the, and got the silver and touch that up. Alright, there we go. Alright. Alright, rinse the brush. Let's get these pants going. Go back to my regiment brush. It's medium brown here. Start up underneath his skirt, come down to his boots. Oh man, I just remembered something I wanted to do on the last mini I was painting and I forgot. Alright, that was not flesh. That was just a really smooth part of the pants. This artist that does these, Daybreak Miniatures Sven, he is like super detailed, so seldom will you find just like a really boring, random, smooth piece of cloth. So I had to assume that was skin at first look. Somebody's out there. I think they got a leak in their muffler or their exhaust. Looks alright. Alright, so we're going to come back to the boots, because if we do the speed paint down here, what will happen is it'll bleed out when they touch. So let's go ahead and do the base, the dirt part of the base while we're waiting. Putting away a miniature brush, grabbing a cheap brush. Let's get down here and paint the ground, paint the dirt. I went to, a couple months ago, my cousin, who is significantly younger than I, he's actually younger than my two older sons, but my cousin was in a high school play, and it was Beauty and the Beast. And we went to go see it, and he played LeFou, which is like Gaston, the antagonist's, I wouldn't say cohort, his sidekick maybe. And he was hilarious. And the whole cast, for being a high school production, like, I'm not a big guy that goes to plays and stuff. I'm not like super cultured or whatever, you know. But for a high school play, this production was like top of the line. And these kids, young adults, whatever, these high schoolers did such a phenomenal job. It just blew my mind. I could not believe how well these performances were. Again, I normally would never go to something like that, but it was my cousin, and I'm supportive. He's part of our family. I love my whole family, but it was amazing. I had a really good time, believe it or not, going to this high school play. It was just unreal. I missed a little bit of bear fur that comes around the side. I got to come back and grab that. There we go. There's a little bit right there I missed too. Alright, this is probably going to have to be the last miniature tonight because I'm missing stuff here. Alright, so these straps that are holding all this metal stuff on him is going to be a thing. So we're going to get this dark brown here, this oak brown. We're going to get a drop of that. And we're going to just grab a tiny bit of that and try to be a big boy and get these straps. Okay. One arm done. Oh, I'm just like shaking doing these. They're so small. I'm super paranoid about screwing them up. Alright, then we might as well do his waist belt too. There's a little bit of fur down here tucked into his belt that I didn't catch. We're going to try to nail that carefully, and then we're going to come back and fix that green on his skirt. Okay, we're going to do that green on his skirt. I do not like making mistakes. Is this the green? Yeah. Just pick that out. That little bit there on his skirt, and then we want to spread that around. Oh yeah, I'm not showing you guys. We want to spread that around so that it looks consistent. So there's going to be other spots that are a little darker. Then we can come back and hit his boots up with the dark brown. Then we got to figure out what we're doing with this shield, because this shield is pretty sick. Really sick shield. It's got some detail in there. I don't know what I want to do with. And then we're going to have to do his beard, which is going to be black. Hit that buckle up on the belt. And then just kind of do some dry brushing in some of the general brown areas, I think. So let's get those boots. We're doing those with this dark wood brown. I'm going to be real careful. I'm going to use a little brush. Try not to get it on our ground. We want, sorry, I gotta get in the camera here. We want it to be thick enough that it gets in there and gives it some different, lets the speed paint do its job. But we don't want it running onto our dirt. So using a little brush and doing the highest parts first with the thickest amounts of paint. And after there's less paint on our brush, come in and hit the lower parts, okay? So we really don't want to create extra steps. Alright, so that's shield. I think we could probably use that darker brown. Inside this shield, but we want to keep it inside. We don't want to make a mess with it, because coming back over this dark brown is going to be a pain in the butt. Then the back part of that shield, I don't think we're going to do any detail back here. I think we're just going to color that in dark brown. Little handle and all, just dark brown. And since this is a speed paint, it'll get in all those little recesses and stuff and create some different layers. So we're not going to panic. We're just going to paint it dark brown and call it a win. The front of the shield is super cool though, so I don't want to ignore that. I do want to do something to bring that out and make it look nice. Okay. So we got a good start here. I think we should... I'm going to come back to the shield when it dries. Do the silver. We could do, instead of silver, we could do like a gold or a copper or a bronze. Or I have this brown metallic that's on a... This is like a craft paint, but it's not bad looking. Should be using a fractional brush for this, but I'm just going to try to get that belt buckle. Oh, that's too much paint. Try to get that belt buckle to show. It's not phenomenal, but at least I didn't get it everywhere. We're going to do a beard, and then we're going to touch up some flesh, and then we're going to come back and do some more work on the base. And then we're going to do it. Probably go to the hood from there, the bear cloak. Pardon me, from there. Would be my guess. I don't know, but for now we're going to do the beard. Get some more tape. Uh-oh, I'm almost out of masking tape. Oh, now I got a bunch of the red. I don't know if I want to do the black, because I'm worried about it getting on that flesh. I painted right on his damn lip. Of course I did. It's alright. We'll pick it up. We'll clean it up. Not bad. I think we're going to get a little bit of that and do that bear's nose, though. I'm not sure how that bear's going to end up looking. Alright, I think we're done with the black. Alright. Base is looking pretty dry. We can come back and start lightening that up. while we wait for some of the other stuff to get ready. So let's get that monster brown that I always, not always, but I've been using a good bit. Let's get that monster brown. And we can also start doing some stuff with his cloak too while we're here. Oh, Shizen. Alright, we'll fix it. Shiza. I want to put some gray in that and try to fix that spot. So it doesn't look like such a perfect line. There we go. It's a little better. Alright. I got that getting covered up. Can't really see it now. Alright, what do we need to do? We need to start on flesh. His beard should be dry enough. We need to do the silver around the shield. That's probably dry enough too. Alright, let's start with the silver, I guess, and then we'll come back for the flesh. So I'm going to go back to using the plate. No, I don't want to use a plate now. I want to use this this darker gunmetal and fix that shield up. Alright, so we're going to come around the outside first. On the front of the Mini. And just outline that shield. Alright. Now we're going to pick up any little mess ups we did here by just turning our brush at an angle and dragging it along that outside edge. Just like if you're painting or using a marker to color. Follow the line carefully, don't push hard. Just grab the edge. Just picking up anywhere we might have got a little brown. That's all we're doing. See that? Too easy. I'm not a good painter. I'm not artistically gifted as a painter. Just a regular dude. So if I can do it, I don't want to hear any shit, you can do it too. It's a weird place. There's not one on that side, just on that side. Damn it, Sven. You've let me down. Alright, we got to darken up all the rest of that metal, but we're going to wait for that. It's going to be one of the later on kind of deals. Let's deal with his cloak. I'm going to lighten his cloak up a little bit. Let me get a little bit of this dark stone too. Put that in the mix. Alright, we're going to get some dark stone. That's the base coat color of that cloak. I'm going to get some dark stone. Some of that monster brown. And make something that's just a step down. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. Let's start up high. Remember, the highest spots are brightest. Hit those ears pretty good. Come across the back of the cloak, and as we get down, less pressure. Come back up, and any extra paint I have on here that hasn't, I'm going to try to grab that. So we're just making a gradient. Same thing here. Lighten it up a little bit more. Grab a little bit of that gray. A little bit lighter. Wipe a lot of that off. A lot more of it off this time. We're going to hit the high spots, just barely touching it. And we're going to come down and hit it less and less and less, just barely touching towards the bottom. Do it one more time, I think. More gray this time. Alright, we got to darken up that metal, and we got to do his flesh. I should have done his flesh first, because mess ups on this flesh are going to be a pain in the butt. Alright. Double rinse the brush for this. We can't have any merit. There's no room for error. There's no margin. We got to do it perfect. We're going to use this barbarian flesh, and we're going to create our own flesh tone with this barbarian flesh. And it's more of a, like, so there's like, in this paint set I had, there's a tanned flesh and a barbarian flesh. I don't know if it was from one set or if I bought them independently. Don't listen to me. And then there's like a yellowish to brown to the skeleton bone here. So I like to kind of mix these two to get my flesh tones on most people. Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. We want to wipe a lot of that off. Okay. Now we're going to start on his hand over here so I can kind of see what we're working with. Okay, that's going to be an okay color. See that? We're just catching the higher parts of the flesh that stick up with this richer, more full tone. We're not using that on his face. Don't even think about it. We're going to lighten it up one more bit here. And then we're going to wipe a lot of that off. Like a lot, like most of that off. We're going to come back over and just hit his pecs and his shoulders. Alright, plot twist. Switching brushes. Let's go hit that face. I'm very nervous about this face. Alright, so I didn't keep that medium tone. Alright, we're going to just try to just do it this light tone here. Now, up here on his forehead, we don't want to hit that because it's under the bear hat. Alright, we're going to get a fractional brush and touch his lip with some tan. But yeah, like up his forehead there, his top brow, don't catch that with that. Don't lighten that up because that bear would create shadow over that, I think, most likely. All right. Let's start darkening up. Let me zoom back out here. There's probably a button you can hit that just puts it back to 1.0. I'm the worst at this. There we go, 1.0. All right, let's start darkening up some of that silver. I'm going to use this Gravelord Gray. There's a little drop there. I think there's probably an air bubble in that, and we're going to figure that out real quick here in a second. Yeah, there is. All right, let's get this metal up on his elbow, on that chainmail, and that's where you can get this on the straps too. Here, it'll darken those up some. That chainmail is where this Gravelord's going to really pay off, because you can see a lot more texture. Like this side hasn't been done, and look at that where that Gravelord is. It's just phenomenal. The power of speed paint is just unreal. All right, we gotta do up that knee. Let's do his hilt with it. I need a little more. Oh wait, there we go, Gravelord Gray. Let's do his hilt and his sword blade, and then we'll come back on the sword blade, and we will we'll darken or lighten that up with silver after we get in here with this. Take away some of that bling. He's actually pretty bright, because all things considered. We can come back and do that one, once that sword dries. We can come back and put a little silver on the edge of that to sharpen it up. But we're gonna skip around now, because we're already at like 50 minutes. That's not the brush I wanted. We're gonna do the flock while we're waiting for that sword to dry. Clear glue, stiff bristled brush. Find the spots where we want some grass. Shove it down into the texture. You don't want this to be thick. Alright. Same deal. Bright green. Scenic Woodlands, I think this is. I could be wrong. It's been many years since I got this flock. I don't remember where it's from. Alright. Flock away. Boop, boop. I love you, flock. And just that bright green on that really makes him stand out and pop. Dude, oh my god, we didn't do black around the base. Alright, while we're waiting for that dry, we're going to do the black around the base. I must be getting old or tired or something. Alright. Let's get around this. Oops, shit. Oh, well. Alright, where are we at on this sword being dry? We're getting there. Alright, I think we're there. If we're not, we'll soon know. Alright, getting that starter brush, some of that silver. We're going to follow that edge. And we're going to come out here and just kind of just follow along at an angle. Pick that up. Same thing. We're going to come get some of these spots on this shield here. Just pick those up a little bit more. Lighten that up. A little bit there. On the top of the knee pad. Top of the elbow pad. I think we're alright. Not bad. Not one of the best ones I've done, but it's ready for the tabletop. He can smush some faces. I kind of want to do one more thing with this small brush. I don't like to do muscle highlights like this normally. But I really want to capture that this dude is ripped out. This is more of a Warhammer kind of paint contest thing that I see people doing. I'm not the guy that does this. I don't like it. But I really just want these muscles to pop. Because this dude's worked hard to get this buff. He's worked hard, man. Since we did that, now we got to touch up some of his high points there. Okay. Bring it down one more time. Real light. We're just going to hit just that top muscle part there. Just the very top of his pec there. Just that muscle there. Edge of his pec. This is where the light's shining. I think that did more for his muscle work. That's my opinion. And I'm just going to hit his nose. Alright. Pretty good. Let's call it. So there was number 4 of 6 for the June box. His sword's a little bent, so whenever I hit him with, after he's completely dry, I'm going to hit him with a hairdryer before I clear coat him. And I will fix that sword. If you like the miniatures, www.dungeon-swag.com. We have a discount code BISCUITS. You can get 25% off the first month of the Loot Crate which is the miniatures I've been doing in these videos. We have some one-off miniatures for sale on there. We're adding more. Please like and subscribe. I want to get my videos out so people can see these miniatures and they can, you know, here's the one I did earlier. I want people to see the miniatures and know that you can have amazing miniatures for dirt cheap. You don't have to be rich to have nice stuff. You just have to look around and be patient. And I think we've provided a really good highway towards good miniatures for a good price. So check them out. I'm shameless. Buy our shit. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome evening. And I'll see you next time.